morning. To the families, it's so wonderful to see you all again. Distinguished guests, fellow warriors, past and present, friends and neighbors, welcome. It is indeed an honor to share this time of remembrance with you. Nearly a generation ago, our lives changed forever. 20 years. In some respects, it seems like an eternity, but there are times when it seems like 20 days, because our memories of the events of that tragic night are still so clear. The sting of loss fades somewhat over time, but the memories of our fallen heroes and their sacrifice remain vivid. We gather today to remember and honor those who never returned home to their families and friends, who gave their lives to protect our freedom. 20 years ago, the 58th Fighter Squadron found itself deployed to Saudi Arabia for the second time in 13 months in support of Operation Southern Watch. We were working alongside units in a multinational coalition, which included airmen from Patrick, Wright-Patterson, and Offutt Air Force bases, and several other units. For the 58th, the year leading up to this deployment was extremely busy, with the squadron participating in numerous exercises and a major operational inspection. When the time came for us to deploy, we didn't have enough folks to fill all of our 274 personnel requirements, so several nomads from other units volunteered to deploy with us. During this deployment, however, we were all guerrillas. As we neared the end of our tour, we looked back on what had been a successful deployment. Thanks to the outstanding efforts of each of our warriors, we were able to overcome many challenges to meet 100% of our task combat sorties. It was 9:54 p.m. on June 25th, 1996, a Tuesday night. We were getting ready to go home. I, like most squadron members, was making final preparations for our redeployment. I had just finished cleaning my room, standing at the desk in my bedroom on the top floor of our main squadron dormitory. I was reviewing my notes in preparation for our trip back home when suddenly the ground shook so violently I thought the building was going to collapse. The window I was standing next to exploded with a violent blast, and I ended up on the floor on the other side of the room. The following hours were filled with the horrors of injury, death, and destruction, but the bravery, dedication, and professionalism of all present was amazing to witness as everyone jumped into action with rescue and accountability efforts. Our folks were housed in 5 different buildings. Over 100 guerrillas and over 400 total were injured, many in critical condition who were sent to area hospitals for treatment. Throughout the night and early morning hours, news and information came to us a little bit at a time. Slowly, one by one, the names of those we lost were reported back to us. We lost 19 brave warriors that night, 12 of them nomads, 5 from Patrick, 1 from Wright-Patterson, and 1 from Offutt. These fallen heroes returned home ahead of the rest of us. Each was escorted by a fellow airman, some of whom are here today. Their returns were solemn and lonesome, but a high military honor, and there was no shortage of volunteers. The guerrillas were adamant that they did not want to cower to terrorists, and we redeployed on schedule. Watching the actions of our professionals filled me with such pride. Pride that momentarily masked, but did not take away the anger and the grief that gripped me, that gripped all of us. Upon our return, we were embraced with tremendous support from all of Team Eglin and the local communities. Cards and letters of condolence and support poured in from all over the country. Still, our hearts were heavy by the absence of our brothers. Since losing our comrades, husbands, sons, father, brothers, fiancé, and friends, there has been pain and heartache. But by supporting each other, we've experienced healing. We have carried on, just as they would have expected us to do. We've done our best to support our troops and their families, our communities, and our country. In that way, we honor the sacrifice of these incredible patriots. Each of us keeps their spirit alive through our thoughts and deeds, and by continuing to uphold the principles these brave warriors held so dear: service, sacrifice, honor, and country. Let us continue that work. As President Lincoln said many years ago, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. Our fallen comrades continue to watch over us. I think of them every day and feel their presence from time to time. They are guardian angels watching over those who go into harm's way to carry out the crucial missions necessary to fight the enemies that threaten our very existence. I'm sure many of you have heard the song by Lone Star about a man who was away from his family. I thought of the men we lost, and as I listened to the words, I realized it was not a sad song. It was a song of hope that reminded me that these special men are still with us if we just look around. They are the sunshine in our hair, the shadow on the ground, the beat in our hearts, the moonlight shining down. They are the whisper in the wind, and they'll be with us until the end. They are in our prayers, and they are still here with us as we honor their memories today. Sadly, the war on terror continues and the fight is everywhere. We have lost thousands of Americans to acts of terror, many on our own soil. In response, a new generation of warriors has stepped forward to continue the work of those who have served before. Like the giants on whose shoulders they stand, they too are answering the call to protect us and our freedoms. To those who have served, thank you for your steadfast dedication and patriotism. Many of you bear physical, mental, or emotional scars of that service, and our country will be forever in your debt. To the families of our brave warriors, thank you for your incredible sacrifice. I don't have the words to adequately express our appreciation. You are truly an inspiration. Risa and I thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your unwavering patriotism, friendship, and tremendous support. Your strength and compassion have been amazing. Even though we are not always in direct contact, you are always in our hearts. Thank you all for gathering today to honor these magnificent men. Let us continue to keep their spirit alive. I'll leave you with the words of Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., who remarked, "At the passing of a hero, we end not with sorrow at the inevitable loss, but with a contagion of his courage. And with a kind of desperate joy, we go back to the fight." God bless those who have gone before us. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.